Right guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. In this one I'm just going to be showing you how to change the wheel bearings in your Prime Attaquer rim brake front wheel. So let's go ahead, let's run through the steps. Right, so here we have the wheel, as you can see, Prime Attaquer's rim brake wheel. Now, first thing you want to do is remove the end caps from the hub. So depending on if you've had your wheel apart before, or you know the history of it, you might be able to get hold of them, you should be able to, and pull on them just with your fingers like that, and they should come off like that. If not, if they don't come off like that, as easy as that, then if you've got a vice, what you can do is get a pair of soft jaws in it so you don't damage the end of this by crushing it. And then what you want to do is just lay the wheel down in the vice like that, and then just clamp the end where the metal ring is. Just clamp it and then pull up on, hold the rim and pull up on the rim like that. And the same applies for both sides. So remove the two end caps first, and then we'll move on to the next step. Right, so we've got both the end caps removed from the hub. Now what I've got here is a block of wood, obviously on a hard surface. Block of wood obviously to protect your wheel so it doesn't damage the hub in any way. So what you do is, to start with, you can just put your hub down like that on the block of wood. Obviously the shaft, the axle, is lower than the actual hub just by a little bit, not a lot. So you can rest it down like that to start with. So to remove the axle, what you always need is, I've got a 6mm socket there, as you can see. So that's a quarter drive socket. So you can rest that on the end of the axle like that. So what you want to do is get yourself a piece of cloth, rag, just over the end of it like that, and then put it on there so it's not metal on metal, because obviously the axle is just down inside there. So trying to hit it with a hammer, what you're going to do is you're going to damage all the hub and not actually make contact with the axle. So if you rest that over like that, or if you haven't got a socket like I just showed, you can get a punch like that and rest it on there and hit down on the punch with a rubber hammer. So like that, and then you just get your hammer and hit down on there like that, or use the socket, the same principle. Give it a tap, and you can see the axle's gone down now like that. The bearings come out this side, so you should be able to get hold of it and pull that through. You can see there it's loose like that. So there's the axle with the bearing on the end, so the bearing will just pull off the axle like that when you want to change it. So that's that side. Now to get at the opposite side, what you do is just turn your hub over to get to it like that. Rest it on your block of wood again, then we get down in there and knock that one out. So to do the opposite side, what we've got here is an 8mm socket, 3/8, with an extension on it to go down inside the hub. So you lower that down in there, and it's resting on the bearing in the bottom, and you can get your mallet again, knock that through. So there we have both bearings removed. So what you do now is go ahead, clean up your hub, wipe any grease out, old grease and dirt out from where the bearings are going to sit themselves, and clean off the axle and get a couple of new bearings. Then we're ready to go ahead and reinstall. Right, so when it comes to reinstalling your bearings, first thing you want to do is get some grease and just put round where the bearing's going to sit inside the hub. Just put a light coat in there, and same on the opposite side. Like so. Now what we do is, it doesn't matter which side you put in first. So you get one of your bearings. So I'll put the bearing numbers in the description box, just in case you wanted to purchase a couple before you go ahead and do yours. Next thing you want to do is on the side that's going to be facing inside the hub, the side that you don't see effectively, put some grease over the face of the seal on that. And then when you've done that, just put a light coat around the outside of the bearing, like that. And then we'll drop it in place, like so. Just making sure that when you push down on it with your thumb, just to seat it, and it's going in square. It's not going in at an angle at all. Make sure that it's going in square. And then what you need then is you get yourself a 14mm socket, like so. They'll sit on the bearing, on the outside edge of the bearing. Never hit where the seal is on the bearing, because you'll damage it before you've even put it in. The socket is the same size as the outside of the bearing, like that. So as it go in, put the bearing all the way in without damaging it. Never hit where the seal is. Like I said, you'll damage it before you've even started. So all you got to do is place that over there like that, holding it, the socket in line with the bearing, and then just go ahead and tap it in, making sure that you check that it's going in square and you're not hitting it in crooked. Just give it a few taps just to start it off. Just check. It's going in. Next, just a case of tapping it on down until it hits the bottom. So we have it installed, it's gone all the way in. So we're ready to do the opposite side. So before we do the opposite side, on this one we just put a bit of grease inside where the axle is going to go in the middle, and just over the face of the bearing itself. So over the seal of the bearing, just cover that. Now what you do is put that face down, and then on your block of wood, then get your axle, just put a bit of grease on both ends, like that. Then lower your axle down through into the middle. So we've got the axle back in, and then with your bearing again, just put some grease over the face that you don't see, it's inside the hub. And again, a light coat around the outside, like that, and then drop it in over the axle into position. Just push down on it, get it started. The axle's acting as a guide for it to go in on this side. Then again with your socket, same size again, put that over there, just gently tap it in. You'll just feel it going down in, should start ever so easy. That's nearly all the way in now. Just give it a few more taps. You can tell that the note changes when it hits the bottom. That's that side installed. So all we do now is put a bit of grease over the actual face of the bearing there, and then get your end caps again and make sure put some grease over the end of the end cap like that, what's going to be touching the face of the bearing, and just up inside there what will go over the axle, stop it getting stuck on at a later date. And then you just pop your end caps back on. So that's one side, so you just turn your wheel over and then repeat the process on that side. Grease over there, just turn up in the middle, stop it getting stuck on, and then pop that in like that, and then spin your wheel, and that's the process complete. So if you found the video helpful, if you did, remember to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more cycle related content. Till next one, ride safe and I'll see you then.